Just days ago, tragedy struck when a young Swiss couple were brutally attacked by a shark while they were swimming in the Pacific off the New South Wales coast of Australia. It was Thursday morning, November 27th, just before sunrise at Kylie's beach in Crowdy Bay National Park, a remote stretch of coastline where most mornings you won't see a lifeguard or even another person. 25-year-old Livia Mühlheim and her boyfriend Lukas Schindler, who's a year older than her, had arrived just the night before. They'd set up camp, slept, and woke up early to watch the dolphins that often pass by at first light. This was supposed to be the second to last day of their Australian road trip, as they were set to fly home to Switzerland the next morning.
This is the perfect time to catch a pod in action.
A little after 6:20 a.m., they stepped into calm, waist-deep water approximately 50 meters from shore. Livia had her GoPro on, trying to get a clean shot of a small pod of dolphins that were moving along the shoreline. As she did this, the water around them abruptly shifted, as if something large was moving under the surface. Before she could even react, an approximately 12-foot-long shark, suspected to be a bull, suddenly struck Livia from underneath. It proceeded to bite her 3 times in rapid succession. First into her side, then higher across her upper body, before tearing her arm off completely with a devastating third bite. As Lukas turned to look at Livia, he noticed the water around her was completely red, and with a rush of adrenaline surging through him, he swam at the shark with everything he had, swinging, kicking, and trying whatever he could do to fend it off. But bull sharks don't scare easily. Their testosterone levels are notoriously among the highest in the entire animal kingdom, making them not only highly territorial, but aggressive, and not to mention far less likely to back off once they strike. So with Lukas in the way of what this bull likely considered to be its next meal, the shark, without hesitation, turned on him next, biting deep into his leg twice, clamping and holding onto it on the second bite, inflicting massive artery-level damage. The shark then started pulling him underwater as he struggled with all his might to not just stay afloat, but conscious. Fortunately for Lukas, somehow, perhaps through pure adrenaline, he managed to break free from the bull's grip, seizing the opportunity to grab Livia with one arm and start hauling her toward shore. He once again had just 50 meters to cover, which is about the length of an Olympic swimming pool. Now, this may not sound like much on paper, but in open water, coupled with having to drag the dead weight of the now unconscious woman that he loved, who was bleeding out even faster than he was, and the fear of the shark returning to top it off, even this can feel like an impossible distance. As they got closer to shore, people camping nearby heard faint yelling at first. They thought it was probably a couple laughing or playing around, but when they heard an actual scream, that's when they turned their heads and saw the blood. Holidaymakers sprinted down the beach toward the water as Lukas collapsed the second his feet hit the dry sand. He was still holding Livia as a woman ran over, took off part of her own swimsuit, and tied it tight around his leg as a makeshift tourniquet, an act which, in hindsight, likely saved Lukas's life. However, Livia, at this point, wasn't breathing. Her injuries were catastrophic. The bites weren't just deep, they tore through her muscle and bone. Her left arm was completely gone, as mentioned before, severed at the shoulder, and the other wounds, which were big tears across her side and torso, had already drained a massive amount of blood before Lukas had even gotten her to the surface.
Tight. Yeah, okay. Keep pressure on her. I've got a call going.
Yes, we're on the north end of the beach. She's bleeding, yet conscious but fading. Please hurry.
People did everything they could. Hands on the wounds, trying to stop the bleeding. Someone called emergency services. Another person ran down the beach to try to wave down some help. Livia was worked on non-stop, but the injuries tragically would prove too severe, and Livia passed away on the sand before paramedics even arrived. When New South Wales ambulance teams reached the scene, they described it as one of the most confronting cases of shark attacks they've ever dealt with. Lukas, who was fading, in shock, and barely conscious, was losing blood very fast at this point. However, the paramedics would stabilize him and control the bleeding as best as they could before airlifting him to John Hunter Hospital. Lukas's leg was torn so badly that doctors warned he might never fully regain his mobility. Investigators later reviewed the footage from Livia's GoPro and they confirmed that this was most likely a large bull shark, so I'm assuming that this was actually caught on camera. However, I'm not sure if this is going to be released to the public, most likely not, in respects to the victims and their families. The shark, based on witness accounts as well as the sizes of the bites that were inflicted on both Livia and Lukas, point to it being around 3 meters long, possibly bigger, and shark scientists also confirmed something else, that attacks on 2 people by the same shark are extremely rare. Experts believe the shark may have been chasing baitfish or hunting in shallow water on the morning of the attack on Lukas and Livia, and that they were simply in the wrong place at the wrong time. Following the incident, the beach was immediately closed and drones were flown out in an attempt to locate the culprit shark. 5 smart drumlines were deployed, but at the end of the day, the shark had evaded them, and their efforts ultimately came up short. If you found this episode interesting, then our previous episode featuring some of the most brutal shark attacks in recorded history are likely to do the same. You can find it at the end screen of this video. The next episodes, which are coming out within the next 7 to 10 days, these are going to be some insane shark attacks that I haven't covered before, so do stay tuned for them. Stay safe out there. Till next time.